The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has declared a state of emergency across the region. The president of the ECOWAS Commission, Omar Touray, made the announcement on Tuesday during the 55th session of the Mediation and Security Council at the ministerial level in Abuja. Touray says recent developments underline the imperative of serious introspection on the future of democracy and the urgent need to invest in the security of our community. Addressing ministers, diplomats and senior officials, Touray gave a sobering assessment of West Africa's political climate, citing multiple incidents as evidence of a rapidly deteriorating security environment. To talk about this, we're joined by Nigerian security analyst Deyemi Saka. Deyemi, good evening. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Really do appreciate it. Let's talk about the effect this will have on the region. A state of national crisis across the region means that there must be some level of coordination of security efforts, of economic efforts, and pulling policy and resources together to make sure that the region is safeguarded against continuous attempts of coups. But is this an effective deterrent?
Well, for me, I probably want to come at it this way. We have two of the three strongest democracies in Africa are in West Africa. That is Ghana and Nigeria. With the wave of coup plots, military intervention into governance and what have you, it's going to cause a disruption of democratic governance in the sub-region. And there's a need for the region to decide what it wants to, adopt as its values. Yes, to a very large extent, you probably what you have in the region makes, in some instances, justify or probably gives justification for such military actions and what have you. You want to look at the likes of Cameroon, you probably ask yourself what's happening to Abuja. You look at the kind of elections, the credibility of the elections, the integrity of the elections, you want to question it. But I think as a region, when we've decided, and when we decide that it's democracy and civil rule, it's the order of the day and it's our common value and shared value, I think we have to do everything to protect it. And I'm expecting that the ECOMOC that has been in some instances on standby in some regions, I think they have a base. I'm not so sure of that fact, but I know there's an ECOMOC for operating base in Syria alone. So I think they have to activate such bases and they can spring into action to defend democracy in the sub-region.
Yeah, in recent years, we've seen coups in Mali, Guinea, and particularly Burkina Faso, where it seems as though the military rule in Burkina Faso seems to have stabilized a lot better than those who are pro-democracy would have been able to predict. But more importantly, we've now seen the attempt of a coup in Benin. Does that leave countries like Togo, which is a smaller country with much less military capacity, a lot more vulnerable, because Togo and Benin, tucked between Ghana and Nigeria, are two very small countries that one wouldn't have expected to be volatile, but here we are nonetheless. Will this state of emergency safeguard smaller countries like Benin and Togo?
Well, it's important to send a strong message across to countries like the Republic, Togo, with no intent of disrespect. It's a sovereign state. I probably won't want to call it a small nation, but it's a sovereign state, and whatever happens in the Republic, Togo has a strong impact and implications to what happens in Ghana, Nigeria, and Cameroon. And if Nigeria should fold its arms, and Nigeria and Ghana should fold their arms and let the coup, become a success in the Republic, you could expect that the next country to fall is Togo, and after Togo, you expect Cameroon to fall. And we should look at it that there's a massive insecurity in the sub-region that stretches from Cameroon, Benin Republic, a bit of Togo, Nigeria, Chad, Mali, that terminates at the Mediterranean Sea in Libya. So if we can't stabilize governance, we can't guarantee public safety and security. And before the whole sub-region will be consumed in armed conflicts, insurgency, terrorism, and every other act of criminality you can think of. So I think the best thing to do is to protect constitutional democracy, to protect multi-party representative democracy for the benefit of the people and for the stability of the sub-region.
Yeah. How do we safeguard democratic processes and democratic institutions in the sub-region, given the particular vulnerability it is to military insurgencies?
Well, if you look at the actions of the conduct of the elections in the sub-region leaves a lot to desire, to yearn for. You look at the most recent is the one in Cameroon. You ask yourself, was that an election? You ask yourself, what is Paul Biya still doing in office? But if you want to go by the official pronouncement of the electoral body, you probably want to say, okay, fine, is the will of the people, is the political will of the people. But the constant sit-tight syndrome that still happens in West African nations for such military incursions, but we still have to, I think ECOWAS, I believe, the leadership of ECOWAS needs to call member states, the head of member states to order, tell them, if we can give them marching order, give them an ultimatum to vacate, and allow the will of the people to be represented at the polls. That is where you can have democracy. That's where you don't have this hostile takeover.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to leave it there. Mr. Deyemi Saka, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Deyemi Saka is a Nigerian security analyst. We're going to take a break. We continue on the other side of this.